Hello. Hi, it's so nice to see you. Did you change your hair since the last time you were here? It looks really nice. Unless you don't have hair and you're bald, in that case, delete it, bald. You fucking little bald. You baldy. Could I? Oh no, I'm not bald. Oh no, I'm not bald. I can't Photoshop myself onto baldy. Oh, sorry, bald.
I'm nodding like I understand, but I'm not so sure I do.
So today I'm going to be weaponizing my lack of BFA in musical theater to rank the Drag Race Rusicals from worst to best. And yes, that's right, I'm going to be entering my Anthony Fantano era, and I'm going to be telling you what to think about an entirely subjective medium. It's not an objective list, this is totally subjective. So like, don't be pissed. Don't be pissed. Literally me covering all my corners being like, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. If you get mad at me and you write it in the comments, you are punching so far down. You're not even just punching at low-hanging fruit. It's like the fruit's already buried. It's decomposed. Like it's so far in the ground that to punch down would to be just so mean. Dude, I have less subscribers on here than your mom has followers on Instagram. Think about that. If you disagree with me, that's totally fucking cool, but just don't be a huge cunt about it. I would appreciate that. Listen, and I'm sure people in the comments will be saying it's completely impossible to rank music because everyone's gonna think something different and it's just complete waste of time, and I completely agree. Which is why we're doing it today. Let's go. So the Farmer Rusical sucks big the Queens did good with what they had. It's one of those things, and when I critique any of the Rusicals from now on, I'm not talking about the Queens, I'm talking about the writers. Who the fuck in the production was like, you know what needs a Rusical? Pharmaceutical companies. Who made that decision? You know what? If you're gonna send hate to me for this list, I want you to send hate to the writers of these Rusicals. Don't send hate to me. I'll deflect it elsewhere. Go over there. Look over there. Out of all of the topics that they've decided to do for Rusical, this is the one that I actually have no fucking idea what they were going for. And then there's that weird cameo from Andy Cohen, which the other group didn't have, so the other group was at a disadvantage. So like, what was going on? Please, someone explain to me in the comments. I don't understand.
Turn into a robot from outer space!
This one is significantly better than the Farmer Rusical. It's a better idea to like look at Cher's eras and try and replicate them and kind of like parody them. It's still not a great Rusical by any means, but it's significantly above Farmer Rusical. The main thing about this Cher Rusical, I was watching it last night just to kind of recap before doing this video. And at first I was like, wait, this is really good. You know, first it's Cameron and she kind of like, you know, she knocks it out of the park. She wins the challenge that week. And then you have Monet Exchange. And I was like, oh my God, wait, this is like, I remember this wrong. Like, this is a really fucking good Rusical. And then downhill. But it's just not a good Rusical. They had to sing live, which is extremely difficult. It was a difficult Rusical. It was not lyrically the most interesting. It's not, you know, sonically the most interesting.
Rocking. It's not for me. It seems like it's an album for people who I've followed her.
Live stream.
This was the Rusical for season 13, and even when it aired, it did not sit right with people. And I hated this Rusical, and I was of the opinion, before I rewatched all of them for this video, I was of the opinion that this was the worst one, by far. I remember watching it and being like, this is a literal travesty, and it is. It's a car crash. However, what saves this one from being lower on the list is that every single queen apart from Simone did a pretty good job. So it's one of those Rusicals where it's like, the queens did good, really good. I would actually say, I think that there are actually some great performances in this one, which save it from being lower on the list, which is Utica. Tina Burner did great. Obviously Rosé. I think Rosé, this is the second best performance in a Rusical from a queen. And then also Gottmik and Denali did really good. So there's loads of positives in terms of performances in this Rusical. It's just everything else. I'm trying to like talk about it, but it's like so bizarre. Like she was like Mark Zuckerberg, and so Mark Zuckerberg was there, but then there was also some like promiscuous woman. She was there to free the nip, but why was she friends with Mark Zuckerberg when he ain't getting no bitches?
I'm a video vixen of a rock Kardashian. Sisters wanna come for me, suck it. I'm trashing them.
I think that this is one of the catchiest Rusicals that there is, and I often find myself singing it all the time, but also that doesn't really mean anything about the quality of the musical, because I always sing the worst verses in Drag Race. They're just on repeat in my head. Every single Trinity the Tuck verse is on my head 24/7. It has some great performances. Obviously we have Shay, who does amazing, and then also the three at the beginning, Peppermint, Sasha, and Trinity are all really great in this Rusical. Oh, and obviously Alexis Michelle. Alexis Michelle did the best by far. I think that this is one of the more enjoyable Rusicals to watch. Yeah, it's not great, but it's not awful.
Come on, bitches, show 'em how to
Work it, bitch.
This is a great idea for a Rusical, for the queens to be playing air hostesses. I think it's a really funny Rusical. It's not that good, but like, good idea. It's not something that I'd listen to in my spare time, but I do appreciate it for what it is, and I think it serves the purpose. This Rusical also has a lot of funny moments, and by funny moments, I just mean Mrs. Kasha Davis. It also has a lot of Floptina moments, i.e. Katya. Flop.
You are a flop. You are basically flop. You are so floppy.
So yeah, it's not an amazing Rusical by any standards. I just think that there are some other Rusicals which I would say are better.
Orange and tar.
Girl, what the fuck is you talking about?
Hi, it's me. It's editing me instead of video me. And I'm here to interrupt the video just to explain my placement of this Rusical. I ranked it super high. I don't know what I was on when I filmed that. I ranked it super high. I thought that for sure that I was going to be going against the grain, but I would be in the right. And then I rewatched it while I was editing this, and I realized that I was in the wrong. And so I'm kind of retroactively getting rid of this. I've already edited the entire section with Trump the Rusical and me talking about why it's good, and I disagree with it now. You know, the amount I've changed over the past 2 days is crazy. All you need to know is that the performances were really good and the writing is bad. So if I were to edit this all over again, I would probably put it around 8th or 7th place. Yeah, it's not great, and I don't know why I placed it so high when I filmed this. So instead of making you listen to something that I don't even agree with anymore, I've decided that you can listen to the story of a date that I went on with a guy. So I'm gonna put that in here. Just like when I was on a date with a guy, and I made fun of conservatives, and he was like very quiet, and I was like, "You're not conservative, are you?" And he was like, "Well."
Lick, titty, cock, titty.
This is a really, really, really strong Rusical, and I know that just like Shade the Rusical, this is also a lot of people's favorites. It's a parody of Pitch Perfect, which is very, you know, it's a bit outdated now. I guess it kind of adds a level of charm to the Rusical because Pitch Perfect, I haven't heard of someone talk about Pitch Perfect in forever. Obviously, Chi-Chi did an absolutely amazing job. You have Thorgy, who was someone who I just couldn't take my eyes off. You have Acid Betty, and then obviously the best one, you obviously have Kimchi, who did amazing. See, the thing is, and this is one of the Rusicals where it's like, even the bad performances, because I'm making fun of Kimchi, but even the bad performances are still charming and still funny.
'Cause I'm the biggest star.
You know, extra props for everyone for being able to sing live, and I think that that is something that I could never do. So,
you could never.
You know, 10 out of 10 to everyone there. It has some of the strongest musical performances, i.e. Courtney Act and Adore Delano and Ben Dilkrem. I think that they all knocked it out of the park. And everyone else, other than, you know, if I didn't mention the name, they all did good. Now we're at the top 2 best Rusicals, and I had such a difficult time choosing these two, but I ultimately had to make a decision, and I decided to put number 2 as Moulin Rouge. Was the season 14 Rusical, and it was one of the best we've ever had. Again, this could be switched with the top 1. I don't care. These are both amazing Rusicals, and it was probably the most musical-esque we've ever had. You know, the production was the highest that it's ever been for one of the Rusicals. The costumes were all amazing, and their performance, it's just, I don't understand how it's as good as it is. Like, Lady Camden literally fucking killed it. There is literally not a single performance in all of the Rusicals of all time which is even close to Lady Camden. She did such a fucking amazing job. No one did bad, not a single person. Even the people, who was in the bottom? It was Bosco and Georges. and they both fucking killed it. See, it's harder when you get to these top placements because it's just like they fucking killed it. I just have nothing else to say. They just did amazing. This just teetered above Moulin Rouge for me. And I think that the thing which made this a #1 placement for me above Moulin Rouge is that this Rusical has unique songs throughout the entire thing, while Moulin Rouge used Rouge songs, which we've seen before many times. So I think that the originality of the Madonna Rusical just puts it a tiny bit above. But again, like I said, you could swap either of these top 2 placements. This is another Rusical where everyone fucking kills. You have Jan, you have Gigi Good, you have Crystal Method, you have Widow, you have Heidi even did good, and she was in the bottom. I think that this is the best written Rusical that we've ever had. You can tell that the writers of this had a huge, huge, huge passion for Madonna, and it shows. So I know that this video is going to be highly controversial. I know that people are going to shit on me all over the comments, and that's okay. Maybe I'm into that. Just kidding. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking at my list now. It's completely and totally malleable. It's not a set list. You know, every single time that I look at it, I want to change it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' favorite Rusicals are. If you want to do a ranking list of your own in the comments, I would love to see it. And if you want to tell me why I'm wrong, I wouldn't love to see it, but it's the internet. What can I do? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to subscribe, I would highly appreciate it. Please do. It keeps me motivated to make more stuff. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.